Hello everyone, in our last video we were talking about the differential diagnosis. So we were talking about that mathematical disorders and disorders of written expression are more commonly occurring in combination with reading disorder. There are very few chances that reading disorder will cause alone and the written expression will cause alone. However, the severity may vary. This was what we were discussing in our last video. So now let us move on to reading disorder in particular. When talking about reading disorder, which has the another name called dyslexia, as mentioned in your syllabus, it's called as dyslexia. Now, focusing on reading disorder, we have essential characteristic features. We talk about two important characteristic feature while we are talking about the LD as whole. So that is, the individual's IQ should not be impaired and the individual's performance should be 2 standard deviation below the IQ that the individual has obtained, and the performance of the individual should be below his age level, his educational level and the IQ level. And these problems should cause these limitations should cause problem in his or her daily living. So now focusing on reading disorder, you have again the diagnostic feature here. The essential feature of reading disorder is reading achievement, that is reading accuracy, the speed or comprehension as measured by individually administered standardized test that falls substantially below that of expected given the individual's chronological age, measured intelligence and age appropriate education. So this is the criteria 1. Again we are trying to say that the individual's performance in the reading area, that is the comprehension, the reading accuracy, the speed of reading, everything should fall below his age level, fall below his ability level, fall below the IQ obtained, and also the age appropriated education. If he has attained education to certain level, even then the performance is below than the expected, then we can classify it as one of the diagnostic criteria. And the second is the disturbance in reading significantly interferes with academic achievement or with the activities of daily living that requires reading skill. So this is the second criteria. If the sensory deficit or the sensory deficit is present, the reading difficulty are in excess to those usually associated with LD. So if a child has a problem with sensory issues, the child is facing that is problem with hearing and eyesight, then the deficit, the problem of LD would be little more higher than the usual LD. If there are neurological or other general medical condition or sensory defect is present, then we need to have the access, we need to refer back to the axis 3, which you are not even aware of right now. We have many axes under DSM, so each has a definite understanding of each disorder in particular. And this again, there is a mention that this is also called as dyslexia. That is, oral reading is characterized by distortion, substitution or omission. Both oral and silent reading are characterized by slowness and error in comprehension. In previous videos, when we were discussing the pictorial notes, so you were able to make out that we had mentioned key points. So they vomit the alphabets, they vomit the letters, they substitute the letters or the words for something else. They are not able to pronounce it. That's why they vomit it. They use some other words. These things are common among the kids who are suffering from learning disorder, especially the reading. And when the associated feature with this, when we talk about the associated features of learning disorder, it's known that people who have, as in the beginning of this video we mentioned, there are chances of having the mathematical learning disorder, same time dysgraphia, that is poor ability in writing and poor ability in reading. All these three in the combination. There are rare cases where one disorder alone manifests itself. If at all there is a combination, the severity may vary. If the child might be predominantly dyslexic or the child might be predominantly dysgraphic. There are chances that child might be predominantly dyscalculic. So it differs. So what is the predominant problem of the child? That has to be taken into consideration. However, they do have an association. These can be the associated feature of that. And then coming to the specific gender features, this disorder, that is dyslexia, is almost equal among male and female. When we talk about the learning disorders on a whole, then you can understand that learning disorder is seen prominently in males than in females. So most of the disorders that we have a look, most of the psychological disorders are mostly predominantly high in male than compared to female. There are very few disorders which has occurrence in female. So it's very easy to understand and remember. So those disorders where the prevalence rate of women having the disorder is more. So however, this in terms of dyslexia, this is almost equal. So you can see that the disorder has been found to occur at more equal rates in males and female when careful diagnostic ascertainment and stringent criteria are used rather than the traditional school-based referential and diagnostic procedure. So this things makes it clear it has an equal occurrence among male and female. So prevalence rate here, it is estimated that 4% of school-age children. Again, the statistic is based on the US statistics, and the 4% of the school children suffer from dyslexia, that is problem with reading. So that is the first prevalence rate. That is what we are focusing here, because on an whole LD is found to be 2 to 10% of the world's population, and alone in America 5% of the individual in the public school suffer from LD. So when we talk about particularly learning disorders in specification with reading disability, then the prevalence rate is 4. So the reading disorder seldom diagnosed before and end of the kindergarten or beginning of the first grade became formal reading instruction usually does not begin until this point in most school settings. So this course of the disorder should be understood. This is a disorder which you can diagnose only after the child goes to school. This can be diagnosed only after the child enters the school going age. So it's not usually taken into consideration during the kindergarten years. You have very minimal writing, reading skills in the kindergarten time. Whereas, however, when you enter your first grade, that is first standard, so it is where your formal reading and instructions comes into picture. You have a lot of writing and reading in first standard when compared to your LKGs and UKGs. So, and even children are very much playful during the LKG and UKG years rather than in first standard. So it is not easy to understand the learning disability as a disorder itself when the children are below that. Ideally speaking, the age should be more than 6 years for an individual to be classified as LD. So there are chances that parents with today's advancement in Google and people being very smart, they just Google that the child is not able to pronounce, the child is vomiting the words. So definitely Google will come up with the LD as the guidelines. The guidelines of LD is shown up, and then parents take the child to psychologist without considering the age of the child, nothing. So we have more Google doctors and Google psychologists. That's what is causing a problem in today's living. So make sure as a psychologist you need to be very much clear on things, that the age of the child and the criteria has to be met. The physical development of the child is also very important. The child, for example, especially dysgraphia is into consideration. The motor skills of the child, the fine motor skills of the child has to be improved. That will not be achieved until the child reaches 6 years of age. So if you force a child to use pencil pen at the age of 4 and 3, as the trend of kindergarten and play school is starting at the age of 2, then the child will definitely not be able to do that, because child's physical development has not reached that age. There is no room of blaming the child there, or no room of labeling the child as LD. Just because you have put a child to school, you can't expect the child to be functioning at the level you are expecting the child to do, because the child's fine motor development has not yet developed. You have to wait till that point of time, then alone you can diagnose the child to be suffering from LD. Only if the child has grown up to appropriate age. So usually LD is diagnosed when the child reaches 3rd standard, and the ability of the child who is suffering from LD in the 3rd grade, his performance would be equal to first standard student. So you have to understand that their level of understanding, their level of processing, their level of expression is 2 standard below. If the child is in 3rd standard, his ability is of 1st standard. It can be improved with different tools, techniques, as we had mentioned in our previous videos. So that is there. So you can look into the criteria which we had discussed already. So now talking about mathematics. So we'll not stress on mathematics in particular, because your syllabus doesn't ask you to mention about the mathematics. However, we will look into these things. We had a general understanding of mathematical disorder under LD. Again, you can look into the diagnostic criteria. Here, diagnostic criteria says that mathematical abilities measured as by individually administered standard test is substantially below what is expected given the person's chronological age, measured intelligence, and age appropriate education. So this is there. Everywhere it's same, but the words are substituted here. Mathematical ability, they're the reading ability. So now you have the disturbance in the criteria A, that is this criteria significantly interferes with the academic achievement or activities of daily living that requires mathematical abilities, just like the previous one. However, there is a change in the ability that we are talking about, and if the secondary deficit is present, the difficulty in mathematical ability are in excess of those usually associated with it. So these things will definitely clear your understanding about mathematics disorder. Here, if you're talking about the rate of occurrence, all these things are almost equal in the sense you can find these cases, like 5 cases of learning disorders. So when we talk about this, that is estimated to 1% of school age children will have mathematical disorder. The prevalence rate, the occurrence is about 1%. So this is very little, but this causes very severe and grave problem in the life of the child. When, as we have mentioned in our previous video, that this can interfere with their measuring of ingredients. So that is also there. That can really hamper their day-to-day living. So this is about mathematical disorder. And coming to the diagnosis of written expression, you here have is that written skills as measured by individually administered standardized test or functional assessment of writing skills are substantially below those expected the given person's chronological age, measured intelligence, age appropriate education. The disturbance in the criteria A significantly interferes with the academic achievement or activities of daily living that require the composition of written text, written grammatically correct sentences, and organized paragraph. Then the sensory deficits. We have this point everywhere. The physiology has to be ruled out. If there is a physiological problem, then the occurrence of this is little more higher than the normal occurrence of the particular problem that we are talking about. So it's always there. Physiology has to be overruled. Physiology has to be taken care of while talking about all these disorders. So hope this is clear. So you have, we spoke about the general introduction of learning disorders. To classify learning disorder itself under a broad category, what are the diagnostic features that we need to focus, and what could be the associated features, and what could be the other associated disorders along with that. how you can function properly. Then we had particular disorders, reading disorders, then mathematical disorders and dysgraphia. Thank you.